Welcome to all my dear Bhaiya Bahan. Today we are again going to start the second poem of Flamingo, that is, the poem is An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum. Yesterday on the previous day we had finished first paragraph, first stanza of the poem. Today we are going to start rest stanzas and we shall try to finish it. See the second stanza and after reading you will recite with me. On sour cream walls, donations, Shakespeare's head, cloudless at dawn, civilized doom riding all cities, belled, flowery, tireless valley, open handed map, evading the world its world, and yet for these children, these windows, not this map, their world, where all their future is painted with a fog. A narrow street sealed in with a lead sky, far, far from rivers, capes, and stars upwards. Here at first you write some difficult words. The first word is sour. Sour means unpleasant, or you can say off white or creamish. Donations, things given or received in charity, or you can write things given as gifts. Shakespeare's head means picture or statue of Shakespeare's head. Down means early morning before the sunrise. Civilized doom. Here civilized doom means institutions of the civilized world like schools, colleges. Belled means having bells. Tireless Valley, valley in Tyrol in Austria. It is a very beautiful ice-free valley in Austria, that is called Tyrol Valley. Open-handed map means map of the world drawn at will, or you can say by the dictators like Hitler. Awarding means giving the award, giving the result. Its world, the world as partitioned by the conquerors. These children, here these children stands for children in this slum school. Not this map means the other world of important, rich and civilized people. Fog means thick mist. Sealed in means closed in. Lead sky means bluish grey sky. Far means away from. Capes means places of high land sticking out into the sea. Here in this stanza we see the poet describes the walls of the school. They are cream in color, like the color of sour cream. This means that the walls are not clean. They have not been painted recently. The walls are covered with different charts and images that must have been donated by different people. There is a picture of Shakespeare on the wall. His head, which is bald, looks like the rising sun at the horizon. At the same time of daybreak, the sun is rising at the horizon and is semi-circular like a dome shape. It seems to be behind all the cities. There is a picture of the famous Tireless Valley, which has beautiful flowers. There is the image of a map which helps all in its own way. But for the children, the map of the world is irrelevant because the slum where they live is different from what is shown in the map. Their world is only what they see out of the window of the classroom, the slum. Their future is full of darkness. Their future is compared to a narrow street, which means that there is no wide scope available for their future growth. These children are far away from the radiant light of knowledge and education. In this stanza, the poet has used literary devices, or you can say poetic devices, or you can say figure of speech. The first figure of speech is metaphor. Here, the sentence walls are described to be dull as sour cream. Here, the poet used metaphor. Second sentence, the future of the kids is described as limited. That sentence is narrow street sealed with a lead sky. Here the poet has used allusion. Allusion means reference to well-known person or place. Here the poet has mentioned two important things like Shakespeare's head and Tireless Valley. Another figure of speech is repetition. Again here the word is far, that is repetition. Now the third stanza. See the lines. Surely Shakespeare is wicked, the map a bad example, with ships and sun and love tempting them to steal, for lives that slyly turn in their cramped holes from fog to endless night. On their slag heap, these children wear skins pipped through by bones and spectacles of steel, with mended glass like bottle bits on stones. All of their time and space are foggy slum, so blot their maps with slums as big as doom. In this stanza, you write some difficult words. Surely. Surely means definitely. Wicked means not good or noble. Tempting means enticing or attracting. To steal means to steal away those comforts and run away secretly. Slyly means secretly or artfully. Cramped means narrow. Holes means layers. L-A-I-R-S, layers. Endless, without any end, or you can say infinity. Slag, here slag means waste material. Heap means pile, P-I-L-E. Pipped through means emerging. Spectacles means eyeglasses. Bits means pieces. Foggy means full of fog. Slum means dirty settlements. Blot means blemish, black spots. Their maps means maps with places for the rich. Doom means ruin or hell or disaster, you can say. In this stanza, the poet further says that these children living in the slum area have faced so many hardships that they feel every other person to be their enemy. For them, Shakespeare is an evil man. They don't find the map to be a good thing. They were never liked or loved by anyone. Therefore, they hate almost everyone. Their desire of being loved by others forces them to steal. They live in small homes and they have started adjusting to it. Their life is going towards an endless night. This means that their future is full of darkness. These kids are so thin that one can easily see their bones through the thin layer of skin. Their skin is like the thin layer of cloth, and the bones beneath are visible through the skin. These kids suffer from malnutrition. They wear spectacles which are made of steel. They are cheap and very uncomfortable. Even the lenses in the spectacles are repaired. The spectacles look like stones which have been repaired with pieces of glass sticking out of them. Here, the poet tries to explain that these kids have to face so many hardships in their lives. As these slums are getting bigger, they will destroy the future of the children, and it is very difficult for such kids to escape from them. In this stanza, you will see three figure of speeches are used. First is metaphor. Their homes are very small, like holes. Here, crammed holes is metaphor. Simile. Their repaired spectacles. Line is like bottle bits on stones. Here is simile. Alliteration. Use of F sound from fog. There is alliteration. So, in this stanza, the poet has used three literary devices. First is metaphor, second is simile, third is alliteration. Now, see the last stanza of this poem. Unless governor, inspector, visitor, this map becomes their window, and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs. Break, oh break, open till they break the town, and show the children to green fields, and make their world run azure on gold sands, and let their tongues run naked into books. The white and green leaves open, history theirs, whose language is the sun. Now, you write some difficult words here. This map becomes their window, means the map of the world becomes their map and may include place like the little school in a foggy slum. Next word is these windows. Here these windows means the environment of slums. Shut upon their lives means block their progress. Catacombs means underground graves or tomb or cemetery. Azure means sky blue or deep blue. Gold sands means golden sand on the coast. Tongues run naked means they express themselves freely. Now, You see, what does the poet want to say in this stanza? The poet says that the government should take notice of the problems being faced by these kids. He urges them to change the life of these kids and make the world map a reality for them. There is a need to break the restrictions which are put on them due to poverty and lack of resources. He wants the governor and public to help these kids in achieving their dreams, as this will take them away from fog to blue sky. The poet here wants to say that in this way the kids can be taken away from the darkness of their present to a bright future. He wants these kids to experience the sense and the beauty of nature, as this will lead to a desire of gaining knowledge. They will then go through the white and green leaves. Here white leaves depict books and green leaves depict nature. This will then result in their progress and they will be able to paint a bright future for themselves. In the last line of this stanza you have seen, history theirs whose language is the sun, means the man who can speak boldly, the man who can read smoothly, one who can speak smoothly, one who can face the challenges, that man's language is published in history. So my dear, our language must be like the sun. Our language must have some power so that we should live in history. If our language will have no power, nobody will recognize us, our progress will stop. So, through this poem, the poet presents the picture of slum children, their problems, their needs, and finally, the poet requests to the governor, to the authorities, to take these children out of the slum to make their future bright. Now, in this stanza, the poet has used two poetic devices. First is metaphor. The white green leaves open. Here books and nature are expressed in form of white and green leaves. Another figure of speech is anaphora, that is called repetition. Here there is the repetition of word run azure and run naked. Use of repeated words in two consecutive lines. So in this way we have finished this poem composed by Stephen Spender. Now some questions from you as class work. I will give you some options. The tall girl with her head wagged down means the girl. Option number 1 is ill and exhausted. Option number 2 has her head bent with shame. Option number 3 has untidy hair. Yes, very good. The answer is ill and exhausted. Next question. The paper swimming boy with rat's eyes means the boy is. Option number 1 sly and secretive. Option number 2, thin, hungry and weak. Option number 3, unpleasant looking. Very good. The answer is thin, hungry and weak. Excellent. Next question. The stunted, unlucky heir of twisted bones means the boy. Option number 1, has an inherited disability. Option number 2, was short and bony. Yes, excellent, very nice. The first option is correct, has an inherited disability. Next. His eyes live in a dream, a squirrel's game in the tree room. Other than this means the boy is. First option, full of hope in the future. Second option, mentally ill. Third option, distracted from the lesson. Yes, very good. The boy was distracted from the lesson. He was watching a dream of a squirrel's game in the tree room. Next question. The children's faces are compared to rootless weeds. This means they. Option 1, are insecure. Option number 2, are ill-fed. Option number 3, are wasters. Its answer is are insecure. Very good. In this way, we have finished this excellent poem written by Stephen Spender today. Your homework is prepare question answer from all stanzas in fair copy and submit it before your teacher on the next day. In the next class, we shall read the third poem of this book, that is Keeping Quiet, composed by Pablo Neruda. Till then, thank you. Have a nice day.